you guys ever get tired of listening to women lie? Is that something you guys ever get tired of? Who's ready to listen to a woman lie today?
So tell me if you think that this is a flag. So a few months ago, I matched with this guy on Hinge, and you're doing normal to know you questions like, where are you from? How old are you? Do you have kids? Blah. And he tells me he has a daughter, and she lives in Nebraska, and I live in Florida, so just to give you reference, he goes home every weekend to see her. And it wasn't the part that he wants to see his daughter every weekend that was weird to me. I support that. That's awesome to see someone that wants to be that involved in his daughter's life. What was weird to me is that means he's not going to be available every weekend. Now, I'm not the clingy type, but there are too many married guys on these apps, so I'm like, they try to be like, and they're not available weird times, and they try to give you an excuse, and sometimes you just gotta investigate a little bit more. So it's not a red flag, it's like yellow flag. Let's find out if that's the real reason he's not available every weekend, and then go from there. He's nice. I'm excited to meet him. So then he tells me, let's meet up on Friday, and why don't you pick the place? So I look on his profile to see where he lives so that I can pick a place that's kind of in between both of us. So that way it's not inconveniencing anybody. So I tell him the place. We meet up. When we first get there, I make a comment of like, saw you live in XYZ city. So I thought this was kind of good in between place. And when I said it, he was caught off guard. And I'm like, is it weird to him that I saw what city he lives in? It's on your profile, so it's not like I was stalking him.
Don't call me. Don't come by my house. We're done.
I'm going to make a few quick comments here. I do want to say one thing. This woman sure is making a lot of assumptions. And I'm going to start with maybe the biggest assumption here in all of this is she's automatically assuming that everything he's saying is just a lie because of other men she's been hooking up with on these dating sites. So you got a woman that has hit the wall. She's hooking up with random men throughout the week on Hinge and Tinder and all the other dating apps. And she is questioning the loyalty of one of these random men. You don't know this man. You just met this man. And you're already making assumptions about his second and third life that he's living away from you. This man isn't yours. You just met this man. What are you doing? Why are you wasting your time recording videos like this? I am almost thinking that this just isn't even a real video. Nothing has happened so far. Okay. I'm going to finish out this video. There's one more thing before I start the video I want to bring up is the whole, what did she say? He had a face that caught him off guard. What are you talking about? You do not know this man. How do you know the faces this man makes? He could have had a rock in his shoe. These women, they stretch. They're going to pull something because these women stretch to find any sort of morsel of drama to put into their life. We are 1 minute into the video and she is going on a date with a man that is married and now he's afraid that she knows where he lives. You can't make this stuff up.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
It was just one of those things like, okay, mental note, that was kind of a weird response. So we're talking, again, he's talking about his daughter. He seems to really love her. He goes home every single weekend. He tells me he has a house there, and he also tells me he has a house here. And I was like, oh, okay, you just kept putting things together about a person. I'm like, he must be well off if he has 2 houses in 2 different states. He can afford to like fly across the country every single weekend. So then as we're leaving, he makes a comment of like, well, I have a long drive back to Fort Lauderdale, let's say, which is a different city, a different direction to where his profile says that he lived. So I was like, oh, what are you doing in Fort Lauderdale? Making conversation. And he's like, oh, that's where I live. And I was like, oh, and I'm thinking like, oh crap, I could have picked a much better place. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I thought you lived in XYZ city. And he starts getting super sketchy. And like, I would have picked a different place that was a little less out of your way. And lo and behold, the man does not have a house here. He lives in a hotel during the week. And he has a house in Nebraska, lives in a hotel here. And so after I left, I was like, you know what? He was nice, but it just feels like, does this man go home to see his daughter and his wife every single weekend? I have no idea, but it was so...
This is the worst.
Wow. That story absolutely was a complete nothing burger. Waste of time. Completely waste of time. I didn't waste time to go into the comments because I'm gonna be honest with you, it didn't have a lot of views. But let's break down this last part here. Is she's still rolling with the assumption that he's married. She doesn't know this man. She is talking about this man on social media. Thank God she didn't reveal his name or anything else about him. But she said that he's staying at a hotel in Fort Lauderdale. He's traveling back and forth. I mean, this man could be easily found. So what is this woman even doing? But that also all depends on if this man is actually real. Is this man real? I have a suspicion that I highly doubt that this man is real. So you got to understand that men like this, women that go out on dates with men that have that many red flags, these men always smash. She was looking to smash. She probably did smash. How do you think she knew he had a hotel room? She followed him back to the hotel room. If you start adding up what story, you will start to piece together what these women really are talking about. It's like you have to decipher the message. You ever seen any of those old treasure hunter episodes? You had to decipher a specific message to get into the tomb. If you want to get into this old tomb, you have to decipher these messages. So he was staying at the Fort Lauderdale hotel. She went back with him. They laid pipe for a few hours, and then he had to get back home to his wife. Is that the story you're painting here, ma'am? Is that the big mystery? Now, if this guy existed, you better believe that if he wasn't a certain height, if he wasn't a certain level of attractiveness, if he didn't have that good job that all these women want, and these women see these red flags, these women are going to be running the opposite direction. There is nothing these women will not do to get away from men like this. They complain about these types of men online all the time. These types of men that only want them for one thing, that are wasting their time, that they're wasting their energy. It's just the very definition of insanity at this point. They're painting these wild stories, which is not even a wild story. So you had a one-night stand. Who cares? Did you really have to make up a 3-minute story to justify it in your head? This is where we've gotten with social media. She's not making these videos for anyone but herself. She's watching these videos back and saying, oh, that is how it happened. Well, it's a good thing I have proof. Are you kidding me? These women's social media accounts, TikTok accounts, they need to be revoked. TikTok needs to be banned. I'm not the first one to say it. I won't be the last. I feel like all this toxicity will flow into the other platforms like it already has. But there is no excuse for the type of behavior that some of these women put out there just for everyone to see. There is no excuse for this type of stuff. And for her to do this so out in the open and then still come to the realization that she's still doing this with online dating. She is still going on these dates and then turning around and slandering these men's names and potentially doxing them. She basically didn't give his home address, but how many men travel from Fort Lauderdale to Wisconsin every week? Do the math. This isn't going to be a hard case to crack. These women have no idea what they're doing. And the sooner we get them off of these platforms, the sooner we can take away their soapbox that they are just polluting with misinformation. The worst thing women can do is take advice from other women when dealing with things that do not involve women. That is just the basic common sense. If this activity does not involve a woman, don't ask a woman for advice. She will lead you down the wrong path. And 99% of the time, she will just lie to you to your face and just wait for you to screw up. She will just lie to your face with no regard for anybody but herself. But let me know what you guys think. That's going to be the end of today's video. Comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Rat Boy out.